Hey guys, and welcome back to another War with the Interceptors. So today D69 is going to be taking on DarkS. So these guys have been a Platinum 1 Alliance, and we actually, I don't think they were running 3 battle groups until either this season or last season. So they've always been pretty high in the standings, but we've always ignored them when we saw them, because they were always an alliance that ran 1 or 2 battle groups. However, it's a recent change for them that they are going up to 3 battle groups. So we are one of their first opponents, I guess, this season. I think they also ran it last season. But yeah, we've definitely never faced these guys. So I went back. When I first saw we matched them, I was really shocked. And I went back and I checked every single alliance war that I've been in D69, and I joined D69. I started in season 16. This is actually my 8th season with them. But yeah, we had never faced them before, so we had no idea what we were looking at going in. And then take a look at Coop's video, and they faced them in like War 3 or 4 or something like that, and I saw that they died 26 times, so I was not too worried. But they actually did really, really well. But yeah, we're just boosting up for section 1. We have the team of Quake, Warlock, and Namor. Namor only has 1 fight. However, I couldn't really send another Namor. We had 2 Namors because there was an Electro on path 3 section 1, but that same guy had to take iHulk on node 51. Yeah, the Power Focus 1 node with his Nick Fury, so he couldn't reach it. And because I have to take Terrax with Namor, I lose 1 fight, but I also gain the Terrax fight, so it's the same difference. And this is a Morningstar on Hazard Shift Path 9 Section 1, and this is a textbook Quake fight, so I did think that they put this here to be quaked. There's a lot of champs that can take this fight. There's so many, but Quake is probably the best. No, she's definitely the best. Like, that fight took 40 seconds. So now we're going to go up to the second fight, and this is actually going to be a Stryfe. So I believe it is Strife's medium attacks cannot be evaded or something like that. I know he has some counter to evade, so we're going to use Warlock for this fight. And you may think that's a little weird, but this shifting hazard, one of the phases is poison, and Warlock is immune to poison because he's a robot. So we do not have to worry about that, but unfortunately I know it does start an incinerate phase. You can safely hit into the block that whole time because blocked hits do not have a chance to trigger the debuff. But right here we're about to switch over, so I'm going to parry and we go into it. This is also the one with Power Focus 1 and Resistor. It's going to be quite annoying. You see I'm doing damage, but the fight's going so slowly. So we were just trying to get him infected here, and then I'm going to hit him with a heavy attack. I thought that heavy attack landed during the poison phase. Apparently it didn't. Apparently it went over into incinerate, but I only lost 5% health. So I'm really not worried about that. Right here we're going to parry again, go back in with perfect timing. We just had to delay a little bit from the stun. Of course he is a protect defender, so we are going to trigger protect whenever we do a lot of damage in one hit, but Warlock's an extra large attacker, so he knocks down and removes all charges, so we're not worried about that. So Incinerate here is almost over. This fight's gone pretty much perfectly. Actually, until today, I did not know just how good champions that are only half immune to the debuffs are for this path, because they're pretty crazy for this path. It honestly shocked me just how easy this fight was. So even though it's taken a minute and a half, we've lost 8% health. I could easily take a rank 3 6er on this node. So all I have to do here is parry and land 1 more L2. And we're just going to get the parry right here. I thought I would. I missed it. So we're going to go in for a 5-hit combo and clean up. So we did lose about an extra 10% there for getting hit, but we're completely fine, and it takes a minute and a half. So that's a pretty safe fight with Warlock, and now we'll go into the next node, which is going to be a rank 5 Colossus. So this is node, I think this is node 20. I could be wrong. It might be node 19. But is it? Wait, 23 is Mixmaster, so 22. This is node 21. This node we actually see empty, people leave this node empty 9 wars out of 10. So this is actually the first war all season that we've seen a defender on this node. And the reason no one places a defender on this node is because there's no hard defenders on this node. Literally no one makes this node hard. Probably the hardest defender is like a Warlock, but Venom is immune to the power drain from Warlock. So you just send a Venom and it's the easiest fight in the world. In fact, it's such a common thing that people think that I almost always see him on path 1 section 2, the second node, which we of course send Warlock to, or Corvus can do it very safely as well if you need a charge, but of course that is not something that you want to do with Protect, because Warlock's an extra large defender, and Corvus is not a large or extra large attacker. Yeah, so that's a Quake fight right there that takes a little bit over a minute. I actually was going to use Warlock for that fight, but I was kind of like, I know I'm not going to lose health with Quake. Maybe it'll take an extra 30 seconds compared to Warlock, so I'm like, okay, whatever. I'll just Quake it. And now we have probably my favorite fight of the war. This is a rank 5 Hyperion. Of course, there's no 6-star rank 3 Hyperion. This is a rank 5 Hyperion on Mixmaster, and what I did is the person that placed with the Taskmaster that was on path 7 section 1, the first node, the kinetic node, I sent a guy with Guillotine who was taking the boss, and he actually soloed the boss, which was really impressive, because I know how much harder that fight is with Guillotine compared to Morningstar, but there was not really a great chance to ramp up a Morningstar on this map. They Morningstar proofed the map pretty well, although this Hyperion fight would have been one of the ones I did, but I didn't really think it was worth it, so we didn't go for it. But we're just going to go with light, medium, and I'm not running Resonate here, which means that every time a debuff falls off, I am going to have to parry heavy if I want a power drain. But this guy just does nothing but spam special ones for the majority of the fight, which I'm fine with, but it's just a little bit annoying, and it wasted probably 30 seconds of this fight. It probably could have gone 30 seconds faster. But right here, I wasn't sure about the evade, but I know that if I throw my L2, I'm going to have the debuffs and I'll be able to power drain, so I'm not worried about that. So I'm going to throw my L2 right here. Does pretty good damage, gets him down to 30%, and I don't believe we ever hit Protect in this fight. We don't activate it, so that's pretty nice. He gets an evade there. I thought I ended the last combo on a light. Apparently I didn't. But yeah, Warlock, as long as the defender here placed with willpower, which you can check if they placed a defender in section 1, Warlock is just an absolutely perfect counter for this node. Who would I send to this fight if he had not placed with Warlock? Probably like Claire or Sorcerer. It's really hard to say, actually. I'm not sure. So J-Gaze was the one. He was taking long shot on Power Snack. I was just checking to make sure he didn't die there. But yeah, now we are going up to our last fights of the war, and I'm taking 6 fights altogether. So we did have to wait for the morning for the energy and the pre-fights to line up well, but they did line up. So here we're taking all our fights. And this is an Emma Frost on the Rage node. So Emma Frost is a very easy champion to Quake. The only thing that makes it a little hard is that she is immune to all debuffs, not all debuffs, most debuffs, including stun. So she is going to be stun immune the whole fight, but other than quaking a stun immune defender, there's not really anything to her. She's also immune to concussion, which just makes this fight so much faster because she never gets to heal from the willpower. And based on the fact that this person is salve, it's very likely they had willpower. But there's actually no way to know. I didn't check any of his other defenders. I didn't fight any of them, I don't think. Maybe I did. I have no idea. But either way, this is just a really easy Quake fight. There are not a lot of people that would feel super confident, but I've been Quaking Emma Frost all the time. In fact, when I see Emma Frost on defense, I'm like, okay, you either got to send an armor break champion or Quake. and any of them are completely fine. On any node you can Quake, you can Quake Emma Frost, basically. She doesn't have any like special protection to anything like that. But yeah, this is going to be a little bit of a long fight, and I am boosted to the max because at the time I was recording this, the war score was 7-11, and we still had 30 fights left. So we were concerned that if we died 4 times, they could then go in, and they had 30 fights left as well, and they could solo every fight, and we might lose this war. And it got that close. There was a point in which there was a small chance we would have lost the war if we just crumbled and completely fell apart as an alliance. But that fight takes 2 minutes. It's a very safe Quake fight. I think I only blocked 1 hit the whole fight. And now we'll go into Doom. But I am never going to be the reason in an alliance war that a war is lost. Or if I am going to boost to the absolute max to do my best to prevent that. But this is a placement. I took this placement earlier in the season. It still boggles my mind. This makes 0 sense to me. Dr. Doom is maybe the most commonly ranked up champion as a defender in all of Alliance War. Probably. Over like the last... ever since Bulwark. Or basically ever since he came out. And for some reason, they decide to place him on this node. I don't understand. I've tried to understand this placement. It just... there is no world in which this placement makes any sense. So what? You don't use Quake, you don't use Magic, you don't use any champ that power controls. Power Focus 2? Who cares? His special 2 is easy to fully evade. Or if not fully evade, what I do is I do evade, block, and then I evade the last 2 hits. So I block 1 out of the 5 hits, and it's like incredibly consistent. I do it in Alliance War. It's that easy. But I mean, I'll take it. If they're going to place a medium hard, he's not really hard anymore on Protect because he's not a larger and extra large defender, but he can still make a couple nodes tricky. If they're going to waste a defender like that on a node that easy, I mean, I'll take it. So this is actually the longest fight. I sped this fight up a bit. So this is going to be Warlock versus Sasquatch on the intercept mini. And because of Protect, I'm not going to intercept too much, but I am going to sometimes. But you'll notice that because Sasquatch is immune to armor break, I'm actually doing almost no damage. And I also don't want to use heavy attacks. This person did place with willpower, but I don't trust the fact that Wrath isn't going to trigger in the middle of my stun, him shrug off the stun, and then me take a 5-hit combo. So unless it's at the very beginning of his charges, there is no chance that I am willing to throw a heavy attack here. So the only way I would drain power would be Resonate, which I'm not running. And you'll notice that in this fight, whenever he goes into Wrath, Warlock's ability accuracy reduction from the infections actually shuts off the Unstoppable. I'm not even sure if he goes Unstoppable a single time in this fight, and that's just a testament to what a good matchup this is. So here I go for another intercept. No, I think it's right here. Yeah, there we go. We hit another intercept. I wanted to throw an L3 just to drain some power. I knew it wouldn't do too much damage, but I just took the protection off, and this will do full damage because the special 3 does not get reduced from the global. So there we go. This fight's going pretty well. It's been 2 minutes, and I decided to hit a few heavy attacks. Then he resists it, which is awesome. But here, even when I bait a heavy attack, no unstoppable, which is just really cool. Then here I'm going to throw off an L2. No, not yet. Right here. Yeah, right there. No, what? I know I throw another L2. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so I hit an intercept with a light attack, and I thought I hit the special right away. I guess I didn't. But it didn't matter because I'm still at 83% health. Like, I'm incredibly healthy. I could probably have taken 20 hits from that Sasquatch, and I would have been fine. But yeah, now we are going into this Manthing. So we did have Tildo, who was going with Rolk to take down that Dragon Man. And originally, I'd assigned this as like a split fight. So like whoever gets there first, Tildo or the Interceptor. That's what I wrote on my sheet. And then I just wrote Rolk or Quake because they're basically equal. This fight is a fight that you kind of learn how to do with Rolk, and then once you learn it, you never die. But I remember, I think it was last season or the season before, I think it was last season, that Dap was taking this fight, and he took it all the time, and he would end with like almost full health every single time, and then just one war out of the blue, he didn't know what happened, he just died to it. So I was a little concerned. I know Tildo had taken this fight so many times, and he was super consistent, but I was honestly concerned that in a close war like this, why should we take even the slightest of risks when we have a champ that we know with 100% certainty will win the fight? Because I won't die with Quake. I just won't. But unless I have like a bug or something, but that's not going to happen. I won't die with Quake. So you'll notice there I did take a few hits and I got my buff nullified, my dex, but I'm still at 88% health. So yeah, I was absolutely nowhere near dying. So right here, I'm going to move up to Terrax, and then you'll notice I'm not running suicides, so we're going to take a little break. I did tell him I was doing this, and we are going to go change up our masteries. We're going to take off all the offense. We're going to add everything on, and we're going to run full suicides for these last two fights. So my last fight against M.O.D.O.K is using Warlock, so as long as I don't throw any special ones or special twos, I'm never going to lose any health from suicides. And then my next one is a fight with Namor, who, while dashing forward, actually heals from suicides. So there is literally no downside. So it just makes sense to run full suicide. So here I had 3 points in Mystic Dispersion. I don't have any Mystic Defenders. I just hadn't changed my masteries since the end of, I hadn't changed my proficiencies. I did take suicides off from War 5, but I had on roughly the same defense and proficiency masteries that I did for my Morningstar takedown of the Apocalypse boss. So I just was able to get a few points. I decided to put my last point into Despair, just for Namor's bleeds, but then I go into this fight and I realized Terrax is bleed immune, so that point in Despair did absolutely nothing, and I have to redo my masteries for doing placement Tomorrow Night for War 7, so it actually did nothing putting that spot in Despair. And the reason I didn't put it into Courage is because Terrax is a Protect Defender, and I was just a little bit concerned about Protect, but I actually never trigger Protect in this fight, even though I have a 565 Sig 200 with the absolute maximum boosts you can get. And you'll notice this fight's going really nice, so we're just doing a lot of light intercepts in the corner, and he's playing into me really nice. And then right here we are going to bait an L1, but you see just that first cycle, baiting one special attack, he's down 40%, which means I probably only have to bait 3 special attacks the whole time. So right there, I went in for a light intercept. He did not play into me, which is a little bit unfortunate, but he went for a double light attack, and I was not fast enough to dash out, unfortunately, so I did lose a little bit of a health of my health. But due to the poison plus the armor breaks that are constantly getting on me from the rock shield, this guy is healing so much Namor when I'm dashing at him. And you'll notice I'm not even losing health because I have 2 debuffs. When I'm not dashing at him, I'm gaining health, so I'm still gaining 40. So I remove the Indestructible, go back to light intercepting, and I know this fight is over. So I think there's actually one point where... No, okay, I was going to say there was one point I maybe blocked and baited out a heavy rather than doing a light intercept, but that was not the case because he finished that off with that 5-hit combo. And now we had... I think I reset the game here because my game wasn't loading properly. No, I just reset the room, right? I back out of war and I go back in because sometimes a pre-fight doesn't show right away, but he was, I don't know what he was doing, but Victory was just taking his time putting that pre-fight on. And I did throw on an invulnerability boost for that previous fight, and I was fairly confident that it would be able to get over into this M.O.D.O.K fight. And yeah, it did. So we still have, I think it's 30 seconds left on the boost or so. Yeah, 48 seconds. So we're completely fine. We're going in with Warlock here. So this is brute force limber with the evade / auto block power gain thing, with the increased ability accuracy as well. And this is a very simple Warlock fight. So right there, I thought I hit my parry. So I started charging my heavy. Apparently I was just a little bit too early on the parry, so it did not count. But yeah, here we just got our infection up, and this guy is just willing to throw L1s like crazy this whole fight. But you notice this guy's going down pretty well. Now, I often don't like the parry heavy strategy, but when it makes a fight as safe as this, and it's a champion that I'm using for a lot of my fights, it's not the biggest deal in the world. So yeah, 8 hits. This guy's getting destroyed. We do a couple heavies in the corner. We're going to do another one right here. Thrower L3. And I've lost 2% health. And I think after this special, he's down to like 25 or something like that. 27. So I've now gained 1% health actually in this fight, because I went in with 83. Let's see if I gain health. I don't remember if I go back down to... Oh, let's go. I gained health in this fight. Yeah, so that is just such a safe fight. M.O.D.O.K's a really bad placement there. White Magneto pre-fight just absolutely destroys it. And then he went in, placed the pre-fight on the boss. Our guy soloed the boss. And there's actually something I have to say when we get to the results. But yeah, these guys died a lot. So they died 9 times to our Mojo boss in VG3. They only soloed my boss. Of course, I get no defender kills. The only boss that they soloed was mine. But yeah, let's pause the game once I go over to BG1 stats right here. So you'll notice that number 163. Now, attack bonus is out of 165. So who do you guys think was the one who died twice? And it was the same person? Yep, it was Run. Run. I'm going to call this war 50 and Run. We had the war 1, and we could have gone 50-0 in my battle group. But then Run dies to a Mojo using his rank 5 Mojo using his rank 3 torch. Now, I did watch the video. He made no mistakes in the fight. He got possibly the worst prompts possible, like at all. And he just got destroyed. He had Mojo down to 9% health. And then he had the genius idea of, hey, instead of calling backup, who has a rank 3 Sig 200 Omega Red, I'm going to go into this fight with a rank 1 6-star Mr. Fantastic. That's a great idea. Nope. He healed up Mojo 2% health. So he healed him back up to 10% and then died. So yeah, only death this war was Run. Good job, Run. Great war. Let's get into the BG2. They got 0 deaths, which was actually really nice. BG3, 5 deaths. Doesn't matter. We absolutely shredded this alliance. But yeah, 2 deaths. We've done 1 death before in BG1, but we've never had 0 deaths. So I really, really wanted a 0 death war, and Run just couldn't give it to me. Everyone else in my BG could, but yeah. It's so fun shitting on Run. But anyways, we're back in Masters. The leaderboard just hadn't updated when I was recording that, because I recorded it like a minute after war, because well, what time is it now? It's only 40 minutes after war. So I started recording this like 15 minutes after war. But yeah, we are in Masters, and we are, I believe, rank 13 or 14. So we're comfortably within by like 4 to 5 spots. But yeah, that is going to make us 3-3 on the season, getting back to even after that stolen win from us last war. We should be 4-2. We have 0 deaths on the season still. And through 6th wars, we've taken 57 fights. So still almost on pace for taking 10 fights a war, except 2 wars I took 9, 1 war I took 8, and then I had a war with 11, so that sort of balanced it out. But yeah, we're on pace to take 114 fights this season. I think it's probably going to end the season somewhere around 110. But we'll see. It depends on how many bosses I have to take, because whenever you take the boss, if it's a decent boss, you usually won't be able to clear a lot of the other nodes. But yeah, that's going to push our Deathless streak up to 71 fights in a row. So we are so close to that 75, which would be a huge milestone. But yeah, that is actually going to be the end of this war. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys in war number 7. Bye.